I was born and raised in Nigeria. When I was about 6 years old, my parents, they divorced and they split different ways. And so I was raised by my grandma. And I came to America with only $100 and a suitcase of clothes some few years ago in search of the American dream. We started the idea in 2019, but we officially launched beta in 2020. So just kind of about 3 years into it now. So the software is doing pretty well. We've gone from 0 to about 15,000 users in just about 3 years.
Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the podcast. We got a very special guest today, Uyi Abraham from Vonza.com. So Vonza.com is an amazing online course platform that's worked with some of the biggest names in the industry, generated a ton of course sales. And Uyi is the founder, he's a CEO, and he has a ton of experience when it comes to launching, scaling, growing online courses, all the way to six figures. And we're going to go deep, and we're having an amazing podcast today, chatting all stuff, courses and funnels and scaling. So Uyi, welcome to the podcast, man.
Thank you, Lucas. It's been an amazing honor to be on here today. And I'm looking forward to a great episode.
Me too, man. Well, it's a pleasure to have you on. So I guess let's start, as we always do, I guess tell us, a little bit about yourself. I know you have an amazing story, an amazing platform right now. So kind of tell us, about how it all came to be.
Yeah, thank you again, Lucas, for having me. So I'm Uyi Abraham. I was born and raised in Nigeria. When I was about 6 years old, my parents, they divorced and they split different ways. And so I was raised by my grandma. And I came to America with only $100 and a suitcase of clothes some few years ago in search of the American dream. My dream was to become a medical doctor, and that was one of the primary reasons for migrating here with just $100 and a suitcase of clothes. And then, one thing about being born Nigerian, education is so important. If you're not just education, but some special type of education degrees. If you're not a doctor, a lawyer, engineer, or an accountant, you're seen as a failure. So I didn't want to be seen as a failure, so I thought I would just be a medical doctor. But coming to America, things were very hard for me. So I dropped out of medical school. So I went into business and entrepreneurship. And then I was, kind of different businesses until about 2010. I saw that online was the future of business and entrepreneurship. So I started creating online courses around 2010. At that time, it wasn't called online courses. We just kind of called like online training, online videos and stuff like that. So YouTube was just kind of popping up on the scenes. We're using YouTube as the primary platform. So that's what I was doing until about 2019. So what happened was that as I was creating courses and teaching people how to pretty much make money online by selling and monetizing their knowledge and their expertise, I saw that the system was broken because I was paying over $1,000 just for tools. I was paying multiple software to run my businesses. To run my business, one for website, one for email, one for funnel, one for hosting, one for payments, one for courses, one for memberships. And my business was just all over the place. So I thought there have to be a simpler and better and easier way for a creator to run their business online without wasting time on multiple tools and software, and also to wasting money, right, to run their business online. Not to talk about the tech frustrations of trying to tie tools together that don't like to talk to each other well. So that frustration was what led me to start Vonza, to become a real simple all-in-one platform that would help anybody to run their business online. So with Vonza, your course, your community, your membership, funnels, pages, 12 tools you will need that normally you pay for, they're just in one tab, one subscription to run your entire business. So we were a pioneer because when we started working on the idea for Vonza, at the time in 2019, a lot of businesses were also narrow focused. The idea for software was that if you are funnels, just build ClickFunnels, just go down on funnels. If you are on courses, just build Teachable, just do only one thing. If you are on email, just do ActiveCampaign, just do only one thing, right? So, but now the world is everybody's trying to do all-in-one now, but we were the pioneer of all-in-one platform, right? Because we felt like that was what made the most sense to entrepreneurs. So that's how we got here, and that's just a little bit about my story.
Awesome, man. Love it. Super inspirational, and so many kind of points that I want to go off. So tell us, a little bit about the software now. I know you have some kind of amazing case studies and stories of some pretty big people using it. So kind of what's the business and the software looking like right now? And maybe, some of the crazy stories or examples of people using the tool.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so we started about 3 years ago. We started the idea in 2019, but we officially launched beta in 2020. So just kind of about 3 years into it now. So the software is doing pretty well. We've gone from zero to about 15,000 users in just about 3 years. And also, too, we have so many people who use Vonza to run their business. Even though it's an all-in-one platform, but people usually come to Vonza for about 3 or more tools, which is courses, community, and also to scheduling. I think that's the main tools I've seen people use. We have people who have thousands of customers on Vonza running a community or running courses on Vonza. So it goes from people who are making 6 figures a year, 7 figures a year, to even people who are making just $500 a month, right? So, and that's the joy of Vonza, that it just makes it easy for creators to just earn a living online. Right. For some people, their goal is not to build a 7-figure business. It's just to make extra $1,000 a month to pay their car note or something like that, And it just gives me a lot of joy to see Vonza is able to empower them to earn a living and monetize their knowledge. We have customers in over 40 countries. Of course, most of our customers are in America, and I say Canada. We have customers in Australia, in Dubai, in Costa Rica, in Africa, pretty much all over the world. So it's a very, very exciting thing to see that Vonza is playing a role to helping people and creators, especially, to monetize and make money online.
Yeah, totally awesome. And wow, so you said you have about like 15,000 users, on the platform right now. So obviously, you've been in the game for 10 years creating your own online courses, and now you have data on all these, other course creators, I'm sure, in a ton of different niches. So I'm curious, being someone in the industry and seeing what's going on, across 15,000 courses and funnels and things like that, what do you see working right now for course creators and course businesses to get amazing results and good scale?
I think we are in a new era right now. From 2018 to 2021, it was the course era. Everybody was staying courses and buying courses. Then 2021-ish to 2023 is kind of digital products era. People that were really making a lot of money, making money from high-ticket coaching and digital products. But 2024 and 2025 is going to be community. It's going to be community, right? Because people right now need more than just a course. They need more than just a digital product. They need more than just logging into your platform and watching videos and going to do the same thing. People need some more hand-holding. They need peer support. They need relationships. They need some kind of mentorship. They need some hand-holding, right? Which just buying courses and digital product will not allow them to do. So if any entrepreneur is watching right now, you have to build a community in 2024, right? You can't just sell a course or digital product. Like I said earlier, you have to intentionally bring a community. You have to be like a tribe, right? You have to get people who like you, who vibe with you, who want to, who needs your knowledge. You have to bring like-minded people together, right? So that's what community does. And this is the era for it. And I've seen people do it so well. Look at, for example, somebody like Andrew Tate, right? He was making at one point, I think I heard about $5 million a day or $5 million $5 million a month by just building a community for like-minded men, right? Right? He didn't sell traditional courses or whatever. He just brought men together, right? There are a lot of women to also just bringing women together. This is a time to bring podcast, enthusiasts together, bringing bakers together, bringing credit repair people together, bringing salon owners together. Wherever your niche is, right, you got to turn to that community and you have to be that tribe and become that tribal leader, right? And community is not that difficult to have like people think it is. Once you just bring people together, right, and make it easy for them to network, build relationship, solve each other's problem, cry together, encourage each other, right? And you are just a facilitator, right? You just have to drop in there maybe once a week or once a month, and that's just sufficient, right? But there's so much benefit that you get to reap as the founder of that community. So that's what I've been teaching and preaching for the last few months, really, that, hey guys, I've seen the trend. 2019, when we knew it was going to go all in one. Now everybody's trying to do all in one. Now it's going to be community focused, community. Everybody, there's going to be a lot of multi-tribes, multi-communities out there. Whoever is the fastest to say, hey, I want to be the community for podcast lovers. I want to be the communities for dog lovers. I want to be the community for men who want to lose 20 pounds. I want to be the community for women, who want to date rich men, whatever the case is, right? Whoever is able to build that community fastest is going to reap the best reward in the next couple of years.
Well, yeah, love it. Wow, man, that's super interesting. And I'm seeing, a similar thing, right? Where, these communities, people keep jumping in and staying in, and it's really exciting. It's almost creating itself. It's creating its own value and its own product, because the other people there are there instead of, the instructor or the owner having to do it. So I'm keen to dive in a little bit deeper into that. But when it comes to, building a community and that actual offer, right? So, maybe there's like and I'm sure it's hosted on Vonza, but communities where people can chat, or discussion threads and message boards. But what else in terms of an offer creates, a good community? Are there, tools? Are there courses? Are there kind of live trainings every week, or webinars or things like that? So inside, this community, what does the offer look like? And also maybe some kind of like pricing models that you see working really, really well?
Very, very amazing question. So the main idea of community is to bring people together. That's really what it's about. It's not necessarily to be the teacher guru, right? That's what people are doing in group coaching. That's why you have a course. You are the teacher guru in the course, you teach your knowledge, right? But community goes beyond that. So I want everybody to understand the main ingredient, the main thing you must provide is to bring like-minded people together. Otherwise, the community will not work, right? And communities need to have a tier system, right? You can bring, for example, if you're a financial coach or you have a course on making money online, you can't put somebody who is making $50,000 a year in their business in the same community or in the same tier with somebody who's making $500,000 a year. It's not going to work. They're not in the same place. They have nothing to talk about. They can't help each other. It will be so one-sided, and that community is not going to work, right? You have to put like-minded people together. That's why with Vonza, we have a tier system, or we provide a tier system so that you can break it into tiers, maybe 10 to 50K a year, tier one. And you can put them into their own space too, so they can communicate. Then maybe 50 to 100, put them into another tier on their own space as well. They may be 1 million and above, put them into their own tier. Then you can have a space or a tier for everybody to meet. But deep level conversations can be within that similar frame, right? And there's scripture in the Bible that says two cannot work together except they agree, right? You can't just put two unrelated people in the same room and try to force them into becoming friends. No, there have to be some similarity, right? Maybe similar pain, maybe similar struggle, or something have to be similar with them before a community would work. So the best community is, one, remember, it has to be connections, bringing people together. Then two, you have to give them courses, right? Provide some courses in that community, right? So that there's also something they can learn when they come into that community, right? Make sure you build engagements, have some, at least one or two in-person meeting a year, because it's hard to build real lifelong friends online without meeting in person. So do at least two in-person events a year minimum. Sometimes quarterly is even better, right? The another good facet about a community too, and gamification is also important too, so that it can foster engagement. So those members of your community who are engaging the most, find a way to reward them in some form of recognition, that does help, right? Then I think maybe another thing I think is very essential too for community too is that communities need to have a reason for it, right? Like I said earlier, it's very, very important. Why? Why are you having this community? What is the goal? What is the purpose? If somebody was to join, what's the benefit for it, right? If I have the time in 2024, I would like to create a community for entrepreneurs just to have fun. Because I know most entrepreneurs, all we do is work, 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 work. We barely have enough fun. It's all about a community for entrepreneurs that we meet online, but we'll do 1 or 2 trips a year for about 3 to 4 days just to mastermind, fun and work at the same time, right? So that's a good idea. But for me though, in terms of pricing for community, somebody's listening right now, there's always 3 sides to everything, I believe, right? I always have 3 models, right? You have a low ticket community, which could be $7 to $99 a month. You have a medium ticket community for people to join, usually about $99 a month to $9.99 a month. Then you also have your premium high ticket community, which I am the biggest fan of, whereby it's like an annual subscription, right? Where it's like that $10,000 to $30,000 a year for entrepreneurs to be a part of that community, right? And that's the space I like the most because many times I see that when people are just that low ticket, the churn is so high because a lot of them, if they feel like they're not getting wins so quickly, they want to cancel because $50 is so much for them. One entrepreneur that can put in 30,000, 20,000, $10,000 a year, the money is not the most important thing that he's looking for. He needs something else like relationship, value, and all of that good stuff. So to me, it's a better model if that suits that business owner.
Totally. Yeah. Love it. That makes sense. And I love the kind of three-tiered approach. So I'm curious,
Yes.
if someone has, experience or a skill in a certain area and they're looking to build a community and they're starting from scratch, let's say they had no audience, how would you go about, creating a community and kind of, getting it popping off?
Good question. I think the first thing is to know your why. What's your why? Right? Let's look at some very important communities. The Rotary Club, the Lions Club. These are very important communities. Red Cross is a community, right? But they're all based on the mission. So your community must have a course, C-A-U-S-E. What is it about? Why? Right? What's your why? Right? And once you know that why, social media is the best way to do that, right? And I always believe in MVP, minimum viable product. So test out the idea for your community first. Go on your social media and say, hey, I'm planning to do a community for single moms, right? I just want to build passive businesses online, right? And what I'm thinking about is that membership will be $5.99 a year, right? Is anybody that would like to be a part of this? Try it out and see if people really are vibing with it, right? I like 10, right? Depending on the price point, though. If it's $500 to $1,000, I mean, if 10 people don't pay for that, it's probably not a good idea. But if it's a high ticket, 10,000 and above, you need like three people to buy into. Okay, that's a good idea. So the way to start is really just put it out there on social media, right? And let people vibe to it and see how much people really want it, right? Or you can even put a questionnaire and say, hey, I'm planning to put a community or launch a community, say in 2024. Yes, the why for the community. Yes, 3 things you're going to, 3 reasons, 1 reason why, 3 benefits of being in that community. If you are interested, fill out this form and, so we can stay in contact or join the wait list or whatever the case is. Then you go to Vonza, right? Vonza.com. You create your community on Vonza. Then you have a community on Vonza so that when they fill out that form, in fact, Vonza also have forms as well. So you don't need to use Google Form or any of those other ones. You can just create your form on Vonza, so that the data from your form go directly into your community platform and into your platform on Vonza. So that's the only 2 things you need: your social media, right, and your Vonza platform, and a strong reason for it.
Sure. So maybe could you give 2 or 3 examples of communities that you've seen or actually that were on Vonza that really, really crushed and what their kind of cause or mission was, as an example?
Great. So one of them is his name is Finesse. He's a popular podcaster on YouTube, especially.
Mm-hmm.
So Finesse, he has a community for men, right? He has a community for men, and he has the same 3 tier system, but more like kind of low ticket. I think 49 to 299 a month for his community, and he's helped hundreds of men to build their self-esteem and now to talk to women and know how to, finesse their way in life. That's his idea for masculinity, right? So it's have a community for that. Another person too is Ashley. She has a community for women. She try to help women to break self-limiting beliefs and also to get business funding. That's the niche. I also have another guy too that's also crushing it too. He has a community. I think his community is called Kobo Tree. His community is for entrepreneurs, right? To help entrepreneurs to, network and also to grow their businesses online. So there are several other communities on Vonza, and the community for moms, community for neighborhoods, community for church choirs, community for
Wow.
everything in between, right? Because community just bringing people together, right? Yep is a community, right? So the whole world is getting back to community, building relationships, bringing people together. Social media, Facebook is a community, right? Bringing billions of people together in one place, right? But it's too big, and then there's no real relationship there. So having smaller communities is the way to go.
Yeah. And as you're like kind of starting to build your community, using social media or kind of other methods, when it's smaller to start, right? Because if you're starting from zero, you're not going to have 1,000 people straight away. How can you, I guess, engage the community or kind of be in the community to make sure that there's content and there's value being provided, even though there's not a ton of people yet?
Yeah. So that's why it's always good to have like some kind of training in the community already, or a course, like a course, for example, a digital product, so that when somebody joins, you don't have that pressure to be performing. When they join, right, they have course to kind of go through before the community start building and more engagements and stuff like that be happening, right? So that's my model because it's the easiest to do. One of the reasons people run away from building communities is that community can take a lot of work if you don't structure it well. Because most communities don't work because you were performance based, right? Whereby the community leader have to post, engage, because it was performance based. No, don't build a community that is performance based. Build a community that is relationship based, right? So that means people, when they come into that community, they are not just there to just take, they're also there to give as well, right? So not only are you asking questions, for example, you're also answering questions for other people, right? I'm building this real community. So that's the easiest way. So you as a community leader, you're not having that much pressure to like, I gotta post today, I gotta post next week, because it's not based on you posting or teaching or being that guru leader. You're more like a facilitator, right? And so, but it's good to have a structured thing though, right? Maybe post once a week, post once a day or whatever, just to drive engagement, right? So those are some things that can help to do it. But they say the way you make your bed is the way you're going to lie in it. So if you make your bed or build a community, so based on performance, what you post, what you put in there, that's as you continue. But instead, build it whereby every member shares, every member posts, right? For example, you can have it as a rule to join the community that you have to post at least once a week. You have to post one inspiring content or a value content or engagement content once a week. If you don't post 2 weeks in a row, you're going to be kicked out of that community, right? So when you have this kind of
Nice.
rules, it forces
Mm.
people to collaborate, to engage, and to do better together. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. I love that kind of rule about like forcing people to post. Do you have any more tips on how to like foster that giving value based community instead of just taking? How can what are some other tools people can do to make sure that people are posting and giving value and building relationships, without, like you said, you needing to perform and post every single day?
Yeah. So the first thing is the way I've seen it work so well is that you have to set it as a rule in that community, right? To join, this was required of you. If you don't do that, you're going to be kicked out. The secondly too is you also leading by example, right? So you also post and you also, give, right? And also receive as well, right? So you can't just be the one also just posting, 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 right? You have to also be the one that is also giving or taking. So you have to also lead an example. But the idea is really bringing like-minded people together, right? That's the best thing that makes a community work. If you are just trying to build a community for everybody, you eventually build a community for nobody, right? It's better to have 10 solid people in your community that really want it, really believe in the mission for your community, than to have 100 people and only 2 people really want to be there, right? So that is it. And that's why I always also tell people to have 3 subscription models or 3 pricing model for community. You can have a free forever community and monetize it later, right? You say, hey, I'm doing a community for dog owners. Anybody can join and post tips and stuff like that. And then you can monetize it later by running some VIP, thing, or there's multiple ways you can monetize it later. Or I've seen another model which is a one-time payment thing, whereby, hey, you buy my course or digital product or coaching, you get into my community forever. Then the last one is the subscription base, and that's my favorite one, whereby they pay weekly, monthly, or annually to be a part of your community.
Yeah, got it. And if someone, has a community that they've launched on Vonza, what strategies do you see working or are you using to kind of grow that, that subscriber base from a marketing perspective? How can we make sure that we're, getting new people in consistently?
Yeah, very good. So really, organic, I think is really the organic campaign methods, right? Organic, building your content up. If you have a community, you have to really be a tribal leader, right? That means you have to be the face, you have to be the voice, you have to show the passion of your community. Is the 80-20 rule. That means 80% of your content on social media needs to be, related to what you're trying to do. Andrew Tate, like him or hate him, his content was about man, masculinity, man, whatever his stuff was. It was the face of it. He was true to it. He wasn't talking about, German community for men, but tomorrow is contradicting himself and talking about how he's so about women empowerment, or how he's so into dog food or cage fighting, right? That's a lot of people miss it, right? Because they are not consistent with their messaging. And then Andrew Tate was not begging people to join his community. No, he was just being true to what he was. And then people are like, how can I get more of what you are and what you're saying? I say, hey, join my community, right? So it's the same thing too. You have to be true to yourself. You have to know that you are the face, the voice of a community. Then that's another marketing strategy is to also, running ads, right? Running ads to some kind of, to your community, or running ads to some kind of questionnaire where you kind of qualify people. But I always believe that it's best to qualify people before they join your community. If you just give them direct access, then they just take it for granted, right? Even if it's a free community, it's good to set up to some form of landing page, let them fill up some form of application so they know that there's some seriousness to your community, and they tend to do better in your community as members.
Yeah, totally. Well, I'm curious to hear did you have any examples or any stories? I know you've already given a few, but of, course platforms or, community platforms that have had great success on, Vonza that you can think of using and some of the kind of marketing customer acquisition strategies that they're using.
So for me, for example, I can use mine. I have a community called The New Rich on Vonza. So it's a community where I help people, not people, I help experts and coaches to build a 6 and 7 figure online coaching business, right? I charge typically about $15,000 a year to $30,000 a year to be a part of my community. And I built it to about $2 million in 18 months without running ads, by just using my own personal brand on social media. And again, it works because if you are true to your values and you post on your true intention, Lucas, one
Mm,
thing a lot of people miss is that they are so sometimes so scared to show people not only their strengths but their weaknesses, to show people who they really are outside of what they do. For example, people want to know, who is Lucas when he's not doing podcast? What kind of food
mm,
does he eat? What makes
mm,
him angry? Where does he like to go when he's bored? What does he do when he's bored? What does he do when he's having a good time? What does he do when he doesn't want to talk to people? Where's his favorite? What's his favorite movie? Where's his favorite place to go? Right? Of course, we don't want to show everything, but we need to kind of show enough. So then it takes Lucas from being just a podcaster to becoming not just a podcaster, but a human, someone that people can
mm,
relate with, right? What does she like? One of my favorite coaches, friends on social media, is a business coach, but he likes chickens. He raises chickens. So that's kind of interesting dynamic to say, oh, every now and then post about chickens, how they're growing, how they're laying eggs, and it just makes it more human. And people just buy his
yeah.
program, right? So you
Mm,
gotta be human. That's why people watch reality TV, because
mm,
we want to see other people that look like us. We want to see them behind the scenes. We want to see them angry. We want to see them, having fun, goofing off, right? So we have to, be human again, right? This is not the time to try to show all your strength on social media. Show some of your bad times too, right? Let people
mm,
connect with you. So there's some stuff that I've seen as work in terms of marketing, which is really just to be
mm.
authentically you, be your true self, right? Show the good and the bad and everything in
Totally.
between.
Totally love it. Well, I could that story about the $2 million is absolutely insane, and it's really, really crazy. And I'm curious, kind of with that, inside that community, when you have like coaches and people how to hit six figures, I guess what are some of the strategies or things that you haven't spoken about yet on this episode to help coaches or course creators generate more revenue from their community?
Good question. So again, during 2020 to 2022, there was a lot of people just buying anything online because people didn't want to go back to jobs, and they were just buying anything to just keep them away from going back to jobs, right? But now a lot of people, they went back to jobs. So now people are not buying in some cases like they were before. So what do you do now? You have to move from selling to nurturing, right? So you have to be willing to play the long-term game. Some people, you got to give them so much good content, free content for 2 years before they buy something from you, right? So you have to know that. So you can't just try to shove everything down their throat to buy, or only post when you want to sell something. No, again, take your social media as your own personal reality TV show, right? Show your life, show your knowledge, show your intellect, show your, your superpower, right? But nurture your audience, okay? Build them up, right? Until they are ready to buy from you. So that's what I'm saying now. You have to not do more nurturing. You have to give a lot of free good stuff before you sell. Like on like 2 years ago, by just like, hey, here's how to make money online. People just start buying it like crazy. But now there seems to be a little bit more nurturing needed.
Totally. Love it. Love it. Well, this has been, an amazing episode so far, man. As we move towards kind of wrapping up, I'm curious, firstly, for someone who's, wanting to create an online course community, are there any kind of, final words of wisdom or final pieces of advice that you would give people? I know you shared a lot, everything from
Yeah.
nurturing the lead, sharing yourself, being vulnerable, building a community, things like that. Is there any other, kind of advice for people who, maybe have been wanting to do it for a while but haven't yet for whatever reason?
Yeah. So I would say that this is a really good time to launch a digital product business, whether it's an ebook, a course, a coaching program, or a community, right? That's the
Hmm.
most, those are my four favorites, right? This is the best time to do so, right? Because people have needs. People need to lose weight. They need to start a podcast. They need to learn how to date, marry. People have needs and they need help, right? And you
Mhm.
as that creator, this is your opportunity for you to shine and to help people. So don't overthink it. Don't feel like your knowledge, your skill is not valuable. No, it is. It is valuable enough. You just have to provide it for people so that they can tap into it. And secondly, you need an easy to use platform to help you to run your business online so you don't waste time, money, and dealing with tech frustrations. That's why you should
Mhm.
go to Vonza. And for everybody on this show, once you click on the link that Luke is going to put on at Vonza.com, we're going to give you a 14-day free trial, right? So we're not going to charge your card or anything for 14 days just to see if you like it, right? If you don't like it, please cancel, and we're not going to charge your card. So we give you a 14-day free trial on this episode so you can try Vonza and see how powerful and easy it is to use to run your business online.
Yeah, awesome. Well, we're gonna, like Uyi said, we're gonna leave the links to your free Vonza trial below. So if you're wanting to create an online course, an online community, mentorship program, membership, whatever it looks like, Vonza literally has everything there that you need. Funnel, email, it's absolutely incredible. I've been inside it. So click the link below. Uyi, thank you so much for coming on, man. This was an amazing episode, and I'm sure there's everybody listening in the audience is going to go and launch a membership, launch a community inside Vonza. So I really appreciate you coming on, man.
Thank you, Lucas, for having me. It was a great pleasure to be here today.
Cool. All right. Well, thanks, guys.